My hands touched sacred armor, alien woman, asking, "Do you know what that means, human?" Ethan Miller stepped off the shuttle onto the surface of Lithuria, a world that seemed almost alive. The ground beneath his boots shimmered faintly, as if the soil itself was made of tiny crystals. The air was breathable, but it carried a sharp, metallic scent that reminded him of storm clouds back on Earth. He adjusted his helmet and glanced at the ruined city stretching before him. Towering structures of transparent stone reflected the sunlight in thousands of colors. Some were cracked and broken, but others stood tall, like silent guardians watching over a long-forgotten world. Ethan had been sent here as part of a human exploration team. Their mission was simple on paper: survey the ruins, gather information about alien technology, and report back. But as he looked around, he felt a strange weight in his chest. There was something different about this place, something that went beyond alien architecture or advanced science. It was as if the city itself was alive, and it was waiting. He moved carefully, scanning the surroundings with his handheld scanner. Strange symbols, etched into the walls and floors, glowed faintly as he approached. They pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Ethan knelt to examine one. The scanner read the symbols as undecipherable, but he felt drawn to them, as if they were speaking to him in a language he could not understand. "Ethan, report," a voice crackled in his earpiece. It was Clara Thompson, the mission leader back on the shuttle orbiting Lithuria. "Are you seeing anything unusual?" "I'm not sure," Ethan replied. "The structures are massive and there are symbols everywhere. Some of them glow. I think this place might have been important." "Important how?" Clara asked. "I don't know yet. But I have a feeling it wasn't just a city. It feels like a temple or a place of power." He stood and continued walking, guided by some invisible force that tugged at him with every step. The ruins grew denser, and the path led him to a clearing in the center of the city. There, on a raised pedestal, stood a set of armor. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Smooth and gleaming, with faint lines of glowing energy running across its surface, the armor looked ancient and untouched, despite the decay surrounding it. Ethan approached slowly, awestruck. The sunlight hit the armor at just the right angle, making it shine as if it were lit from within. He could feel a low hum in the air, a vibration that seemed to resonate with his chest. He extended a hand, hovering over the surface. It pulsed slightly under his fingers as if it were alive. "Ethan," Clara's voice came again, sharper this time. "Do not touch anything. Wait for us. Do not interfere with alien artifacts. We do not know what you are dealing with." But Ethan could not move his hand away. Something inside him insisted that he reach out. Carefully, he let his fingers brush against the surface of the armor. The moment his skin made contact, a wave of energy surged through him. His eyes widened as he stumbled backward slightly, gripping the pedestal to keep from falling. The hum intensified, filling his ears. His vision blurred, then sharpened in a way he could not explain. He felt strength, warmth, and a strange clarity all at once. Then he saw her. A figure stepped out from the shadows of the ruined city. She was tall, graceful, and entirely alien. Her skin was a deep violet, her eyes large and luminous. She moved with a fluidity that seemed impossible, like water flowing over rocks. Her presence commanded the air around her. She stopped a few feet away, watching him carefully. "Do you know what that means, human?" she asked. Her voice was soft but firm, echoing slightly as if the ruins themselves carried her words. Ethan's heart pounded. He had expected many things in his life: danger, adventure, the unknown, but nothing like this. He shook his head slowly, his voice barely above a whisper. I don't." She studied him for a long moment, her glowing eyes narrowing slightly. Then she stepped closer. The air seemed to bend around her, and Ethan could feel the pulse of energy growing stronger from the armor. "This armor," she said, pointing to the pedestal, "has chosen you. No other being has touched it in centuries. Do you understand the weight of what you have done?" Ethan swallowed hard. No, I just touched it, that's all. She shook her head, a look of disbelief on her face. You touched it and it responded. You have awakened the armor, human. That is no small act. You have brought yourself into something much larger than yourself. Ethan took a step back, unsure whether he should bow, flee, or speak. He had been trained for dangerous situations, but this was unlike any danger he had faced before. The armor pulsed in his presence, and the alien woman, whatever she was, radiated power that made his skin prickle. I'm Ethan Miller, he said finally, trying to sound calm. I'm just an explorer. I didn't mean to. You are no ordinary explorer, she interrupted. Ordinary humans cannot awaken the sacred armor. Ordinary humans cannot stand in the presence of what you have touched and survive. Ethan blinked. Survive? Yes, she said, her voice sharper now. Many have tried, many have failed. Your kind humans are strange. You are fragile, yet somehow strong in ways even we cannot measure. The armor has recognized that in you. Ethan looked down at his hands. Nothing seemed different at first, but then he noticed a faint glow along his fingertips. The warmth he had felt earlier persisted, and he felt an unfamiliar sense of energy coursing through his body. He could move faster, feel stronger, and think clearer than he had in years. Why me? He asked quietly. The alien woman's eyes softened slightly. Perhaps you carry the spark that has been lost in this galaxy. Perhaps you are the one meant to carry this armor when none of us could. But this is only the beginning, human. You do not yet understand what you have done. Ethan felt both fear and excitement. Everything he had trained for engineering, exploration, survival had led him here, and yet he had no idea what awaited him beyond this moment. Who are you? He asked. I am Leora, she said, guardian of the sacred armor, keeper of its secrets. And now, because of you, I have no choice but to guide what has been awakened. Ethan nodded slowly. The name felt important, though he did not know why. He glanced at the armor again. Its glow had softened slightly, as if acknowledging him as its new host. I don't know if I'm ready for this, he admitted. Leora tilted her head, studying him with curiosity. Ready? No one is ever ready, human, but the armor chooses, and you have been chosen. You have touched it. That cannot be undone. From this moment, your life is no longer yours alone. It belongs to what you have awakened. Ethan swallowed hard. He could feel 1,000 thoughts racing through his mind, but one stood out above the rest. He had always wanted to explore the unknown, to see what humans were capable of in the universe. Perhaps this was his chance. Then I guess I have to try, he said, finally. His voice was steadier than he expected. Leora's eyes gleamed. Good. You will need courage, human, strength of body and of mind. And most importantly, you must learn to trust yourself in ways you never imagined. She stepped aside, gesturing to the armor. Come closer. Let me show you its full power. But beware, its energy is not a toy. It will test you, push you to your limits. Only those who endure can control it. Ethan hesitated, then took a deep breath. With every step toward the pedestal, he felt the armor's hum grow louder, like a heartbeat syncing with his own. He placed his hands fully on the surface this time. Light surged around him, wrapping him in a cocoon of warmth and energy. For a moment everything was white, then the world snapped back into focus. Ethan felt different, stronger, sharper. He could sense the air around him, the movement of dust, even the faint rhythm of energy in the city ruins. He looked at Leora, who nodded approvingly. You have done well, human, she said. But this is only the first step. The path ahead will test you in ways you cannot imagine. You have awakened something that others in this galaxy would kill to possess. You must be ready to defend it and defend yourself. Do you understand? I think so, Ethan said. I'll do whatever I have to. Leora studied him silently for a moment. Then, without warning, she turned and ran toward a distant part of the ruins. Come, she said. There is much to learn. You must understand the armor, its history, and its power. Only then will you be ready for what is coming. Ethan followed, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. The ruins of Lithuria stretched out before him, vast and mysterious. He knew that nothing would ever be the same again. As he ran, he could feel the energy of the armor flowing through him, guiding him, preparing him. Somewhere deep in his mind, a voice whispered, "You are not just a human, you are something more. You are the spark." And for the first time in his life, Ethan Miller believed it. Ethan Miller ran after Leora through the ruins of Lithuria. The city seemed endless, filled with broken towers, fallen statues, and glowing symbols etched into the ground. Every step he took, the energy from the armor pulsed through him as if urging him forward. It was both exciting and strange. His body felt lighter, faster, and stronger, but he knew he had to learn control. Leora led him to a large chamber, hidden deep within the ruins. The walls were smooth, made of dark crystal, and covered with symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. The center of the room had a circular platform, raised a few feet above the ground. Around it were carvings of warriors, each wearing the same armor Ethan had touched. Their poses were noble and strong, and their eyes seemed to follow him. "This is the Hall of the Ancients," Leora said, her voice soft but commanding. "Here, those who were chosen learned the ways of the sacred armor. You will learn to move, fight, and think as one with it. But know this, human, the armor tests everything. Strength, courage, intelligence, and heart. You cannot hide from it." Ethan stepped onto the platform, feeling the vibrations of the chamber beneath him. The armor's energy reacted instantly, wrapping around him like a second skin. He could feel it responding to his heartbeat, syncing with his thoughts. It was more than just a suit. It was alive in some way. "First, you must understand its basic functions," Leora said. She extended her hand, and a holographic projection appeared in front of Ethan. The image showed the armor, piece by piece, with lines highlighting areas of energy, defense, and mobility. "The armor enhances your strength," Leora explained. "It can amplify what your body already does naturally. You can jump higher, run faster, and endure more than any human could. But it also tests your control. If you panic, if you act without thinking, it will resist you." Ethan nodded. "So I have to think while using it." "Yes," Leora said. "It is not just muscle, it is your mind as well. You must understand its rhythm, its energy, and your own limits. Only then can you truly become one with it." Ethan focused, trying to feel the armor around him. He lifted his hand, then his arm, slowly at first. The armor's energy flowed with his movements, making him feel stronger than ever. Then he pushed harder, trying to lift his leg. He jumped, higher than he had ever jumped in his life. He landed softly on the platform, amazed at the ease of movement. "Good," Leora said. "Now try something harder. Run across the platform and back, controlling the energy with your thoughts." Ethan nodded and began to run. At first he stumbled, his speed making him lose balance, but he adjusted, letting the armor guide him. Each step was precise, controlled, yet filled with power. He felt exhilaration coursing through him. The chamber seemed to respond to his movements, lights pulsing with every step. "You are learning quickly," Leora said, her eyes glowing slightly. "Most take weeks to master this stage. You are fast, human, faster than we expected." Ethan smiled, though he felt sweat on his forehead. "I guess humans have some surprises," he said. Leora's expression softened. "Yes, we have underestimated your kind before, perhaps too often." The next test was more difficult. Leora pointed to a set of holographic weapons that appeared around the platform, blades, spears, and energy projectiles. "Now you must learn defense," she said. "The armor can protect you, but you must anticipate danger. Your mind must guide your body. Do not rely only on strength." Ethan focused. The first holographic spear lunged at him. Instinctively, he raised his arm, and a shield of energy formed around him. The spear bounced off harmlessly, leaving him shocked. Another spear came, faster this time. He sidestepped, letting the armor's energy flow with his movement, and blocked it with another shield. Leora nodded. Good, now try the final stage. Multiple attacks at once. Ethan's heart pounded. Spears, blades, and energy projectiles came from every direction. He ducked, jumped, blocked, and sidestepped. The armor moved with him, amplifying every motion, predicting some attacks even before they happened. He realized he could feel the energy of the weapons, a faint vibration warning him of danger. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Ethan trained tirelessly, learning the rhythm of the armor, the flow of energy, and the connection between mind and body. By the end, he could move fluidly, defend himself, and react faster than he ever imagined. "You are improving," Leora said, her voice proud. "But strength alone will not be enough. You must learn to endure pain and fear. The armor will push you to limits you never knew existed." Ethan nodded, though he felt tired. "I understand. I will endure." "Good," Leora said. "Tomorrow you will face the first trial outside this chamber, a test of courage." That night, Ethan slept under the ruins, the armor resting beside him. He felt its energy even as he closed his eyes, a soft hum that comforted him. He dreamed of battles, strange creatures, and galaxies beyond anything he had known. In his dreams, the armor guided him, teaching him, preparing him for the challenges to come. The next morning, Leora woke him before sunrise. The air was crisp and the ruins were bathed in pale light. "Today," she said, "you will leave the safety of the Hall of the Ancients. You will face a creature that has lived here for centuries. It has never been defeated. You must confront it alone, relying on your human instincts and the armor." Ethan felt a surge of fear. He had never fought a creature like that before, but the armor's energy flowed through him, steadying his heart. He nodded. "I'm ready." Leora led him to a large cave at the edge of the ruins. Dark smoke rose from its mouth, and the ground around it was scorched. "Inside," she said, "is the guardian of this region. It will test your courage, your strength, and your mind. Remember, the armor will guide you, but you must trust yourself." Ethan stepped forward, feeling the energy pulse stronger as he approached the darkness. The cave was vast, and he could hear something moving inside. Low growls echoed through the air. Then with a sudden rush, a massive creature lunged at him. It was unlike anything he had seen. Its skin was thick and armored, its claws razor-sharp, and its eyes glowed with a strange intelligence. Ethan's heart raced. He raised his arms, and the armor reacted instantly. Shields of energy formed around him as he dodged the first attack. The creature roared, and the ground shook with each step. Ethan felt the energy of the armor flowing through his muscles, guiding him, strengthening him. He dodged, ducked, and countered, learning quickly how to move in sync with the armor. Hours passed in a blur of attacks and defense. Ethan used both his human intuition and the armor's power. He discovered he could sense the creature's movements before they happened, a faint vibration warning him of danger. Slowly, he gained confidence, striking back with precise, controlled movements. Finally, with one coordinated move, Ethan used the armor's energy to create a shield that reflected the creature's attack back at it. The Guardian roared and stumbled, allowing Ethan to push it back with a surge of force. Exhausted but triumphant, he stood victorious. The creature retreated into the darkness, acknowledging him as a worthy opponent. Leora appeared at the cave entrance, her eyes glowing with approval. "You have done well, human. This was only the first true test outside the hall. You have courage, strength, and intelligence. But remember, the challenges ahead will grow harder. You must continue to trust the armor and yourself." Ethan breathed heavily, feeling the adrenaline slowly fade. "I think I understand now," he said. "The armor is powerful, but it is only part of me. I have to be strong too." "Yes," Leora said, "and that is what makes humans remarkable. You are fragile, yet you endure. You are small, yet capable of great things. That is why the armor accepted you. That is why I am here to guide you." As they left the cave, the sun rose higher, casting golden light over the ruins. Ethan looked around, feeling a mixture of fear, excitement, and determination. He knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, and he was no longer an ordinary human. He was the chosen, and the universe would soon learn why humans could never be underestimated. Ethan Miller walked alongside Leora as they left the cave where he had faced the Guardian. His body still ached from the fight, but he felt exhilarated. The armor hummed softly against his skin, as if proud of his efforts. Ethan had never imagined a human could survive such a challenge on an alien world, but somehow he had. He looked at Leora, hoping she would tell him he had done well. "You did more than survive," she said quietly. "You adapted. That is what makes humans different. You can think, learn, and respond in ways others cannot. The armor recognized that in you." Ethan nodded, though he was still trying to process everything. I think I understand a little more now. The armor isn't just about strength, is it?" "No," Leora replied. "It is about balance. Strength, yes, but also courage, intelligence, and heart. It tests all of these. And humans, you have a spark that even we cannot measure." They walked in silence for a while, the ruins stretching around them like a vast, forgotten world. Strange creatures scuttled in the shadows, but none dared approach Ethan. The armor's energy seemed to create a protective aura around him. Even Leora noticed it, though she said nothing. Finally, they reached a plateau overlooking a valley filled with alien structures, some intact, some broken. The view was breathtaking. Towers of crystal rose like mountains, glowing softly in the light. A river of shimmering liquid wound through the valley, reflecting the towers like a mirror. "This is where you will train next," Leora said. "You will learn to move beyond simple combat. You must learn strategy, perception, and control. There is a reason the armor chose you. Soon, others will seek it, and you must be ready to protect it and yourself." Ethan took a deep breath. "Others? You mean like the creature I fought?" "Worse," Leora said. "There are beings in the galaxy who would destroy this world and claim the armor for themselves. You must be ready." Ethan's stomach tightened. He had faced one guardian, but the idea of enemies more powerful and intelligent than that creature was frightening. Still, he felt a strange confidence. The armor was no longer just a piece of metal, it was part of him. He could feel its energy guiding him, helping him think faster and move better. "Your first lesson is perception," Leora said. She led him to a series of glowing orbs arranged in a large circle. Each orb pulsed with light in a different pattern. "These are tests of your senses," she explained. "The armor will enhance what you can see, hear, and feel, but it will not do the work for you. You must notice patterns, detect danger, and respond before threats reach you." Ethan stepped into the circle, feeling the energy of the armor flow through him. He focused on the orbs. One pulsed rapidly, another slowly, another in a strange rhythm. He moved his hand toward the first, and the armor guided his movements, amplifying his speed. He touched the orb just as it pulsed, and it glowed brighter. "Good," Leora said. "Now the next." Ethan moved from orb to orb, adjusting to their different rhythms. His body moved faster than his mind expected, yet he controlled every motion. It was exhausting, but he felt a sense of accomplishment with every successful touch. The armor vibrated in response, almost as if it were approving his efforts. Hours passed, and Ethan's movements became more precise. He could anticipate the orbs' rhythms before they changed, a skill he realized could save his life in combat. By the end of the day, he was sweating and tired, but he felt sharper and more aware than ever. "Tomorrow we begin combat strategy," Leora said. "You must learn to think ahead, to anticipate attacks, and to protect not just yourself but others. The armor will help, but the decisions are yours." That night, Ethan sat under the open sky, looking at the alien stars. The constellations were unfamiliar, yet they felt alive, as if they were watching him. He touched the armor, feeling its warmth and strength. He thought about the creature in the cave and the tests with the orbs. He realized that the armor was teaching him more than just fighting. It was teaching him to trust himself, to rely on both his mind and body. The next morning, Leora took him to a wide open area surrounded by towering crystals. "This is the field of trials," she said. "Here you will face multiple opponents, both physical and mental. You must use all you have learned so far: strength, perception, courage, and strategy. Only then will you understand the armor's full potential." Ethan nodded, his heart racing. He had trained physically, but he knew this would be different. Leora signaled, and holographic warriors appeared. They were human-like, but their movements were too fast, too precise to be real humans. They carried weapons and advanced combat tools, and they attacked without warning. Ethan dodged, blocked, and countered, feeling the armor's energy guide him. Each movement was faster and smoother than his own natural abilities. He realized he could anticipate attacks not just with his eyes, but with the armor's energy, sensing the intentions of his opponents. Hours passed in this relentless training. Ethan grew stronger, faster, and more confident. He learned to combine attacks and defenses, to think several moves ahead, and to predict patterns in combat. Leora watched silently, occasionally nodding in approval. "You are learning faster than any human before," she said finally, as the holograms vanished. "But remember, intelligence alone will not be enough. You must endure, adapt, and trust the armor in ways you cannot yet imagine." Ethan wiped sweat from his forehead. "I understand," he said. "I think I'm ready for whatever comes next." Leora's eyes softened. "Confidence is good, human, but do not mistake it for knowledge. The galaxy is vast and dangerous. You must be prepared for the unexpected." Over the next few days, Ethan trained tirelessly. Leora introduced more complex exercises, including moving through shifting environments, predicting enemy behavior, and working under pressure. Each challenge tested him physically and mentally. The armor responded to every command, every thought, amplifying his abilities while forcing him to focus and remain calm. One evening, after a long day of training, Ethan sat by a small stream that ran through the ruins. The water shimmered in colors he had never seen before. He watched his reflection and noticed something strange. His eyes glowed faintly, matching the energy of the armor. He touched his face and the armor pulsed in response, as if acknowledging the change. "Ethan," Leora said, stepping quietly beside him, "do you feel different?" I think so," he replied. "The armor, it feels like it's part of me now, not just something I wear." "Yes," she said, "that is the bond forming. The armor recognizes you and you recognize it. Soon you will be able to sense threats before they appear, move faster than any human, and endure hardships beyond imagination. But power alone is not enough. You must also understand responsibility. The galaxy is not forgiving." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had gained strength, perception, and confidence, but he knew the real challenges were still ahead. The following day, Leora led him to a massive chamber hidden beneath the ruins. It was dark, with only faint light filtering through cracks in the ceiling. In the center was a pedestal, similar to the one where Ethan had first found the armor, but this one held a glowing crystal. "This is the heart of Lithuria," Leora said. "It contains the knowledge and history of our people. You must connect with it while wearing the armor. Only then will you understand the true responsibility of being chosen." Ethan stepped forward, placing his hands on the crystal. Instantly, images and sensations flooded his mind. He saw warriors of the past, battles fought across the galaxy, and the sacrifices made to protect the armor. He felt their pain, their courage, and their determination. He understood that the armor was more than a tool. It was a legacy, a symbol of protection and power. When he pulled his hands away, he felt different, wiser, stronger, and more aware. Leora watched him closely. "You have learned much, human," she said, "but this is only the beginning. You are now ready to face challenges beyond this world. Others will come seeking the armor, testing your strength, your mind, and your courage. You must be prepared." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his responsibility. He had come to Lithuria as an explorer, but now he was something more. He was a protector, chosen by an alien power, carrying a legacy that spanned centuries. As they left the chamber, the ruins of Lithuria stretched out before them, full of mystery and danger. Ethan knew the path ahead would be difficult, but he also knew he was ready. With the armor bonded to him and Leora's guidance, he could face whatever challenges awaited. He was no longer just a human. He was a chosen warrior, carrying the strength and spirit of both his people and the alien legacy he had awakened. And the galaxy would soon know that humans could rise to greatness, even among the stars. Ethan Miller stood on the plateau overlooking the valley, feeling the armor's energy coursing through him. Leora was beside him, her violet eyes scanning the horizon. The sun was low, casting long shadows over the ruins. The air was still, but Ethan felt tension building, as if the planet itself sensed what was coming. "Ethan," Leora said quietly, "today you face something very different. You have trained, learned, and bonded with the armor. But now you will face enemies who are not illusions, not tests. These are beings who seek the power you carry. You must rely on everything you have learned, your mind, your strength, and your human ingenuity." Ethan nodded. He had trained for weeks, facing guardians, holographic warriors, and the tests of perception. He had survived, adapted, and grown stronger. But the thought of real enemies, intelligent and ruthless, made his heart race. He clenched his fists, feeling the armor's warmth respond to his determination. "Where are they?" he asked. "They will come," Leora said. "From the shadows, from the sky, you must be ready." Hours passed in silence. The ruins were calm, almost peaceful, but Ethan knew it was only a momentary calm. He crouched behind a fallen tower, the armor amplifying his senses. He could hear distant movement, the faint hum of engines, and the soft footsteps of approaching beings. Suddenly the sky darkened as ships descended. They were sleek, black, and fast, clearly designed for war. Alien warriors leaped from the ships, landing with precision and speed. Ethan's heart pounded. This was the real test, the one that would show whether the bond with the armor had truly prepared him. Leora stepped beside him. "Remember, Ethan, the armor is powerful, but it is not magic. Your mind guides it. Your instincts protect you. Trust yourself." Ethan took a deep breath. The enemies were closing in. Their movements were coordinated, their weapons advanced. But he noticed something. Despite their strength, they underestimated him. They expected him to be fragile, ordinary. They did not expect a human bonded with sacred alien armor. He leaped from his hiding spot, the armor enhancing his speed and strength. He landed among the first wave of warriors, striking with precision. Energy shields formed around his fists, deflecting attacks and knocking enemies off balance. He moved like a storm, fast, controlled, and unpredictable. The alien warriors regrouped, coordinating their attacks. Ethan ducked and rolled, feeling the armor's energy guide him. He realized he could anticipate their moves, sensing intentions through vibrations in the air and subtle energy patterns. He countered, using their speed against them, and quickly gained the upper hand. Leora watched, silently impressed. Ethan's movements were fluid, his strikes powerful yet precise. But more than that, he was thinking, adapting, using human ingenuity to outsmart opponents who relied on strength and advanced technology. One alien warrior broke through, a massive brute with glowing eyes and a heavy weapon. Ethan dodged its first strike, but the force of the impact sent him skidding across the ground. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he ignored it, focusing on strategy rather than brute force. He feinted left, then struck right, using the armor's energy to amplify his strike. The warrior stumbled and fell, stunned. Ethan felt a surge of confidence. He realized something important. The armor was powerful, yes, but human creativity and courage were equally important. He could do things the aliens could not predict because he thought differently. More warriors advanced, but Ethan anticipated their tactics. He created energy barriers, used rapid strikes, and moved unpredictably. Each victory built his confidence. He felt alive, more alive than ever before. The armor was no longer just protection. It was a tool that responded to his mind and heart. Suddenly, a ship hovered above, and a massive alien commander descended. Its armor was dark, covered in jagged patterns, and its presence radiated authority. Ethan felt a chill. This was no ordinary warrior. This was a leader, intelligent and ruthless. The commander's eyes locked onto him. "Human," it said in a deep, resonant voice, "you carry the armor of Lithuria. Surrender it and we may spare your life." Ethan's heart raced, but he stood tall. "I won't give it to you," he said. "Not now, not ever." The commander snarled and charged, its weapon glowing with lethal energy. Ethan met it head-on, using the armor's energy to block and strike. The force of their clash shook the ground. Sparks of energy flew as the armor and the commander's weapon collided. Ethan felt the strain, but he focused, using every skill Leora had taught him. He dodged a strike that could have killed him, rolled behind the commander, and struck with a surge of energy. The commander roared, but Ethan did not stop. He moved with speed and precision, using the armor to protect him while amplifying his attacks. The battle was intense, but Ethan began to see a pattern. The commander relied on power and aggression, predictable in its movements. Ethan used intelligence and human adaptability to counter every move. He feinted, dodged, and struck with calculated precision. Slowly, the commander weakened. Finally, Ethan saw an opening. He channeled the armor's energy into a focused strike, hitting the commander with full force. The alien stumbled, then collapsed. Silence fell over the battlefield. The remaining warriors hesitated, unsure how to react. Ethan stood tall, breathing heavily. The armor glowed brightly, responding to his triumph. He realized something important. Humans could survive, even against enemies far stronger and more advanced, by combining courage, intelligence, and ingenuity with the power of the armor. Leora stepped forward, her eyes shining. "You have done it, Ethan," she said. "You faced true enemies and prevailed, not because of the armor alone, but because you are human. That is what the galaxy underestimates." Ethan nodded, still catching his breath. I never thought I could do this," he admitted. "But the armor and you helped me." "You did this," Leora said. "The armor amplifies what is already inside you. Humans have a spark, a resilience that others cannot understand. You have proven it today." As they surveyed the battlefield, Ethan noticed something strange. The alien ships were retreating and the warriors were scattered. He realized they had underestimated humans, and now they feared what they did not understand. The armor, combined with human courage and creativity, had turned the tide. "We must prepare for what comes next," Leora said. "This victory is only the beginning. Others will see the power you carry and will seek to challenge it. But you are ready, Ethan. You have grown stronger, smarter, and braver than any human we have seen." Ethan looked at the horizon, the sun casting a golden glow over the ruins. He felt a mix of pride and determination. He had faced enemies who were stronger, faster, and more advanced, and he had survived. He had learned that human ingenuity, courage, and heart could overcome even the greatest challenges. That night, Ethan trained alone, moving through simulations and practicing techniques Leora had shown him. The armor responded instantly, amplifying his strength, speed, and perception. He realized he was becoming more than human, yet still connected to his humanity. He was learning to combine the best of both worlds, the creativity, adaptability, and courage of a human with the power and precision of the alien armor. Days passed, and Ethan continued to grow stronger. He trained in combat, strategy, and perception. Leora introduced more advanced challenges, including multiple enemies, shifting terrains, and unpredictable attacks. Each trial tested him physically, mentally, and emotionally. He learned to stay calm under pressure, to anticipate danger, and to act decisively. Through it all, Ethan began to understand a deeper truth. The armor was not just a tool for survival or combat. It was a test of character. It amplified what was already inside him, and in doing so, it revealed the potential of humanity itself. He realized that humans were not just fragile creatures in a vast galaxy. They were adaptable, resilient, and capable of greatness beyond imagination. One evening, as he rested under the alien stars, Leora approached him. "Ethan," she said, "you have learned much. You have faced true enemies and proven your strength, intelligence, and courage. But there is one final lesson you must understand before the greatest challenge comes. The galaxy does not only test strength, it tests loyalty, heart, and the will to protect others. Are you ready for that lesson?" Ethan looked at her, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. "I am ready," he said. "I will do whatever it takes." Leora smiled faintly. "Good, then the time is coming, human. Soon you will face not just enemies but choices that will define who you are and what humanity can achieve. The armor chose you for a reason. Remember that and you will succeed." Ethan felt a surge of resolve. He had trained, learned, and grown. He had faced enemies stronger than himself and survived. Now he was ready for the next challenge. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, but he knew one thing for certain: humans could rise to greatness, even among the stars. And Ethan Miller, bonded with the sacred armor of Lithuria, would show them all what humanity was truly capable of. Ethan Miller stood at the edge of the valley, his armor glowing with soft blue light. The wind carried the scent of dust and energy from the ruins below. For weeks he had trained, fought, and learned the ways of the sacred armor. Leora stood beside him, calm and confident, yet her eyes reflected the seriousness of what was coming. "Ethan," she said, her voice steady, "today you face the ultimate threat. This is not a test. This is the moment the galaxy will judge humanity. The enemies you face now are powerful, intelligent, and relentless. They will stop at nothing to take the armor and destroy anyone who stands in their way." Ethan nodded, his heart racing. He felt the familiar hum of the armor, its energy flowing through him, steadying his mind and strengthening his body. He had learned its rhythms, its limits, and its power. But he knew this battle would demand more than strength. It would demand courage, intelligence, and the ability to act under pressure. "Are you ready?" Leora asked. Ethan clenched his fists. "I am ready. I will protect this world and everything in it." Leora placed her hand on his shoulder. "Then let us begin." From the sky, ships appeared, dozens of them, black and angular, moving with precision and speed. Alien warriors descended, each one heavily armed and trained for war. Ethan's eyes narrowed. He could feel their confidence, their belief that they would win easily. They underestimated him, underestimated humans. "Remember," Leora said, "the armor amplifies your abilities, but it is your mind that will guide you. Use your human creativity. Think, adapt, survive." Ethan took a deep breath. He leaped from the plateau, landing among the first wave of warriors. Energy shields formed around him instantly, deflecting attacks. He moved faster than the eye could follow, striking with precision and force. The armor responded to every thought, amplifying his strength and speed. The alien warriors were formidable, but Ethan noticed a pattern in their movements. They relied on coordination and brute force. They expected predictability. Ethan used that against them. He feinted, dodged, and struck in unexpected ways. Every movement was calculated, every strike precise. Slowly, he began to gain the upper hand. From above, a massive ship descended, its engines glowing with energy. The commander who had challenged him before appeared, flanked by elite warriors. Ethan's pulse quickened. This was the real test, their strongest, most intelligent, and dangerous opponent. The commander landed with a roar, energy crackling from its weapon. "Human," it said, its voice deep and resonant, "you are strong, but you are alone. Surrender and the galaxy may show mercy. Ethan shook his head. I will never surrender, not now, not ever. The commander lunged and the battle began. Energy clashed against energy, creating sparks that lit up the ruins. Ethan blocked strikes, dodged attacks, and countered with force amplified by the armor. But he realized something important. Strength alone would not be enough. He needed strategy. He studied the commander's movements, noticing its patterns and timing. He used his environment, the broken towers, the uneven ground, and the crystal formations, to his advantage. The armor allowed him to move quickly, but it was his human thinking that gave him the edge. Ethan feinted left, then struck right, forcing the commander to stumble. He dodged a sweeping attack, rolled behind a crystal, and launched an energy strike. The commander roared, surprised by the human's ingenuity. For the first time, it hesitated. Leora watched silently from a safe distance, her eyes narrowing in approval. Ethan's movements were precise, fluid, and intelligent. He was combining the armor's power with human creativity in ways even she had not expected. The battlefield around them was chaos. Alien warriors attacked from all sides, but Ethan had learned to anticipate threats, moving faster and smarter than they could react. He used the terrain to trap enemies, striking with precision and retreating before they could counter. Slowly, the tide began to turn. Suddenly, the commander unleashed a massive energy blast, aimed directly at Ethan. He felt the force hit him, sending him skidding across the ground. Pain shot through his body, but he focused. The armor absorbed some of the impact, protecting him from serious harm. Ethan realized he needed to end the battle quickly. He could feel the armor's energy, waiting for him to act. He took a deep breath, centering himself. Then he acted. He leaped into the air, higher than any human could, and focused the armor's energy into a single, powerful strike. He aimed at the commander's weapon, shattering it with a blinding explosion of light. The commander roared in anger and disbelief, now unarmed and vulnerable. Ethan did not hesitate. He charged, striking with a combination of speed, strength, and precision. The commander fell to the ground, defeated. Around them, the remaining alien warriors paused, unsure how to respond. Ethan stood tall, breathing heavily, his armor glowing brightly. He had survived, adapted, and overcome. But more importantly, he had used human creativity and courage to turn the battle in his favor. The aliens had underestimated humans, and now they would never forget it. Leora approached, her eyes shining. You have done it, Ethan. Not because of the armor alone, but because you are human. Your courage, your intelligence, and your heart made the difference. This is why the galaxy must recognize your kind. Ethan looked at the battlefield, seeing the retreating ships and scattered warriors. He realized something important. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and he had proven their worth. The armor had amplified his abilities, yes, but it was his mind and spirit that had won the battle. He turned to Leora. What now? He asked. Now, she said, we prepare for the future. The galaxy has seen what humans can do. They will come again, seeking the armor and trying to challenge your strength. But you have proven that humans are not weak. You have shown that we must respect your kind. That is just the beginning, Ethan. Over the next days, Ethan and Leora worked to repair the ruins, secure the valley, and prepare for any future threats. Ethan trained continuously, refining his skills and learning more about the armor. He realized that the true power of the armor was not in the energy or weapons it provided, but in the bond between the human and the artifact. It amplified what was already inside him: courage, creativity, and the will to protect others. As the sun set over the valley, Ethan stood on a high tower, looking out at the stars. He felt a sense of accomplishment, but also responsibility. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, and humans were now part of it in a way no one had expected. Leora stood beside him, her violet eyes reflecting the light. You have done more than survive, Ethan. You have changed the way we see your species. The galaxy will never underestimate humans again." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had come to Lithuria as an explorer, but now he was a protector, a warrior, and a symbol of human potential. The armor had chosen him, but he had proven that it was not just the artifact that was powerful, it was the human who wore it. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for guiding me and for believing in humans." Leora smiled faintly. "You did this, Ethan. You carried the spark. That is why you were chosen. That is why the galaxy will remember your name." As night fell, Ethan stood beneath the alien stars, feeling the energy of the armor flowing through him. He knew the battles were not over and that challenges would come again. But he also knew that humans were capable of greatness, even among the stars. He was no longer just a human. He was a chosen warrior bonded with sacred alien power and a symbol of hope, courage, and ingenuity. And the galaxy would remember. Ethan Miller raised his head to the sky, feeling the hum of the armor and the bond it had forged. He was ready. He would face whatever came next, because he was human, and that alone made him extraordinary. The ruins of Lithuria glowed faintly in the moonlight, a silent witness to the rise of a human warrior. And somewhere across the galaxy, beings who had once thought humans weak would now tremble at the name Ethan Miller. For humanity had shown its spark. For humanity had shown its might. And for the first time, the galaxy understood that humans could never be underestimated.